Hello everyone, my name is Rob, welcome to Kinetic Rugby League. In this video I'll be giving you my Super League Round 7 predictions. To quickly recap last week, I got 5 out of 6. The one game that I was incorrect on was Warrington to beat Catalans. So unfortunate stuff there, but in terms of the season recap, 30 out of 36 games correct, which is 83.33%. That is Super League only, so does not include the Challenge Cup. And there's only one week where I've had 6 out of 6. So I'm hoping to bounce back with a perfect week. Let's crack on with the first game and we'll see how it goes. So kicking off round 7, we have Leopards versus Wigan Warriors, starting with league position. Leigh are currently in 9th, Wigan are in 4th. In terms of current form, Leigh have won 1 of their 5 games, Wigan has won 4 of their 5 games. In terms of power rankings, I have Leigh currently in 8th and Wigan in 2nd. Leigh are still without Edwin Aparpe, and he will be a big miss for them until he returns. Wigan haven't been perfect over the last couple of weeks. They've still been very dominant in a lot of games and are still clearly one of the best teams. That's why they're 2nd in my power rankings. But I do think Wigan will be in control. I do think they'll dominate, but I don't think it'll be an astronomical scoreline. I think Leigh will have their moments, they'll put up points, but I don't think they'll let Wigan completely run away with it. Plus, I think Wigan will also be determined to bounce back after the disappointment of last round against St Helens. So Wigan are still firmly the better team for me, but although the scoreline doesn't look great that I'm going to predict, I still think Leigh will be... I think they'll still put in a respectful effort in attack and defence, but Wigan ultimately will just be better in all areas and will dominate this game. So I'm going to go with Leigh Leopards 12, Wigan Warriors 26. Next up, we have Castleford Tigers versus Salford Red Devils, starting with league position. Castleford are in 11th, Salford in 7th. In terms of current form, Castleford have won 0 of their last 5, Salford have won 4 of their last 5. In terms of power rankings, Castleford are 10th for me and Salford are in 5th. When I do form, by the way, that doesn't include Challenge Cup, that's just Super League, so it's not quite as good for Salford right now. But Castleford in round 2 weren't really in that game against Salford early on, but later on started to fight back, which was a good sign. I still haven't seen much else from them to really think that they'll compete this time round. Salford haven't been perfect. They've been really solid in some games, like against St Helens, they fought back well. And against Wigan, they were extremely competitive and then just kind of blew it all away against Hull KR in the Challenge Cup. But then bounced back, I think, quite well against a strong Leigh Leopards team. So I think, same way that I was talking about Wigan and Leigh, I think Castleford will have their respectful moments. I think they'll put up points and they'll, have some scramble defence, but ultimately Salford will dominate in all areas. And I think the result against Hull KR is a bit of an outlier. That is not a true reflection of them as a team. Every team's going to have something like that at some point in their history, and that was it for Salford. I don't think that is an indication of them being a poor team, because we've seen other results around that shows that they're a great team and should dominate fairly comfortably against Castleford. So I'm going to go with Castleford Tigers 10, Salford Red Devils 30. Next up, we have Leeds Rhinos versus Warrington Wolves, starting with league position. Leeds are in 6th, Warrington in 3rd. In terms of current form, Leeds have won 3 of their last 5 Super League games. Warrington have won 4 of their last 5 Super League games. Leeds in the power rankings for me are 4th and Warrington are 7th. This is quite an interesting game for me, and I'll reference a comment that was put on my last predictions video, which was that circumstances and teams played means nothing. It's results that count. Now, as much as I agree with that last part of the statement to a degree, results do count, the fact that teams played means nothing, I think, is an outright incorrect statement. And I think this game is the perfect example for that. So if you take last week, for example, at that point, Warrington and Leeds had both only played, in terms of the same teams that they played, was Hull KR and Catalans. Both had won and lost, but flipped. And then you look at the other 3 opponents. Warrington played London, Castleford and Hull. That's an average league position of 11th. Whereas Leeds had played Leigh, Salford and St Helens, which is an average position of 6th. So in terms of opponents played, compared to results, Warrington's results were better, but opponents played was significantly stronger for Leeds. So it's not a clear-cut game for me. This one is an extremely close game because although the results favour Warrington, the difficulty opponents favour Leeds drastically for me. And the fact that Leeds have come out on top against Catalans is one key indicator that I can kind of lean towards them. The fact that Leeds are still very close to Warrington in the standings and results-wise have been competitive with a much tougher ride to the start of the season indicates that Leeds are still the stronger team in this. So I think Warrington's effort against Catalans wasn't terrible, wasn't great, but it certainly wasn't terrible. There were some good moments in there, but this is going to be another great test for Warrington. If they can come out and win this game, it's going to make it tricky to kind of do power rankings next week. But I think there's an element to Warrington's game that can make them competitive, but Leeds have been tested too much and have withstood those tests as well as they have. Makes me think that this is an okay test for them, but Leeds have dealt with worse and come out looking fairly strong. So I'm going to go with Leeds Rhinos 24, Warrington Wolves 20. Next up we have Hull Kingston Rovers versus London Broncos, starting with league position. Hull KR sit in 5th and London Broncos sit in 12th. In terms of current form, Hull KR have won 3 of their last 5, London have won 0 of their last 5. In terms of power rankings, I have Hull KR in 3rd, London in 12th. London are just well off the mark, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping after their performance against Hull FC, it was an indication that, okay, against some, let's call them easier teams, that they'd be able to restrict the flow of points and also put some more points up off their own backs. But it just hasn't really gone that way. I think there was maybe a few times against Wigan where they offered some questions of the Wigan defence and did kind of disrupt them sometimes, but that was like without Smith and French. But yeah, I was hoping to see a bit more from London at this point, but it just hasn't really happened. I'm still holding out hope that they'll pick up a win at some point, but it ain't going to be this week. I'd be very surprised if it was, but I think that would come off the back of sin bins and possibly red cards if it were to happen this week. Hull Kingston Rovers over the last few weeks have been really, really impressive. Their ability to dominate games is impressive. Limited Hull FC to barely any field position. I mentioned in my power rankings video, just simple changes of direction was more than enough for them to kind of get Hull FC all out of shape. They've had some really tough challenges the last couple of weeks. Salford, I thought in the Challenge Cup was going to be a tough challenge. They dominated that game even without Mikey Lewis, and he's, when he's playing as an individual, teamwork wise, they're a great team, but him as an individual can help change the game. Also, they lost against Warrington, but that was still a competitive performance and looked like the whole KR that we know. And they've had a few other challenges in there, and they've still been very strong. Had complete control over Huddersfield Giants. I mentioned that. The scoreline, 12 points, is okay, but the fact that they had as much dominance as they did is a clear sign that Hull KR are still a great team. I see them completely dominating this game. The only thing that would throw that into doubt is probably a red card or some severe injuries to the Hull KR team, but to predict that is just like complete nonsense. I'm going to predict that Petter Hickey, Evolds and Mikey Lewis will just get an injury in the first 10 minutes. I don't think so. That's a ridiculous prediction. So Hull KR could hit 50. I'm going to give London the benefit of the doubt and say that they won't allow Hull KR to hit 50, but they absolutely could. I think London might put up points themselves, but not many. So I'm going to go with Hull KR 42, London Broncos 6. Next up, we have Hull FC versus Huddersfield Giants, starting with league position. Hull FC are in 10th, Huddersfield are in 8th. In terms of current form, Hull FC have won 1 in their last 5, Huddersfield have won 2 in their last 5. In terms of power rankings, Hull FC are 11th for me, Huddersfield are 9th. There's a lot of injuries that Hull FC are dealing with at the moment, which is not great. However, Their defence is awful. It is truly, truly awful. In attack, well, they have no attack, really. I think when they get Jake Truman back in there, I think he'll be a huge help. But the fact that they're still playing with 3 hookers, Houghton, Brown and Smith in the spine, doesn't help. I think individuals like Tex Hoy could really offer a lot. Like, he didn't really get many minutes for the Newcastle Knights in the NRL because there were other great options there, like Kalen Ponga, for example. So you're not really going to get ahead of him in the team. But I think Tex Hoy is still a talented player that has something to offer, and in the right system could be, you know, he could be a decent player, a little bit with like Matt Duffy. We know that he's got something to him, but it's just like trying to get him involved in the right way. So when they start utilising Tex Hoy properly, he can help change and swing momentum, but there's just nothing to that team. There's no organisation. There is no one that can take the reins and really carry that team through sets. Brown ain't going to do it. Smith ain't going to do it. Houghton ain't going to do it. So I don't know who they lean to give them any kind of control. Huddersfield, on the other hand, have been really inconsistent, but when they're at their best, dominate and completely destroy teams. So my prediction for this is kind of assuming that this is another game that Huddersfield can dominate, but I think with their inconsistencies will allow Hull FC to pick up some points. There will be a week in there where Hull FC just kind of come good. Like they'll have one round in there where they look good. I don't think it's going to be this week. And I think Huddersfield could put up a real solid number of points. It's another game that could get very, very ugly. But I don't even know. I don't know what the answer is for Hull FC. But all I know with Huddersfield is that they can be great, but they just need to be more consistent. They're not perfect. They've got plenty of flaws. I think Hull FC could probably exploit a few of them. But yeah, Huddersfield should be very comfortable in this game. So I'm going to go with Hull FC 12, Huddersfield Giants 40. Finally for this week, we have Catalans Dragons versus St Helens. Starting with league position, Catalans are in second, Saints are in first. In terms of current form, both have won 4 in their last 5. And in terms of power rankings, I have Catalans in 6th, Saints in first. This is going to be a hell of a game. St Helens have been tested a lot this year already, playing against Leeds twice, Wigan and winning that game. They've played against Salford, and although they lost that game, they were still up 13-13. It was the red card, didn't help them, of course. I think their only team that they've played in the bottom 3 is London. They dominated that game in round 1. Catalans have played a few teams in the middle of the pack. Warrington twice, Leeds, and have looked quite strong. But I think they're not quite there yet to get it done against Saints. I think they will have their moments. They will put up points. And I don't think they'll allow Saints to get away with things easily. And they dominated quite well through the middle against Warrington. Their kicking game, so Jordan Abdul led that kicking game very well. And that could be the difference. I think if there is going to be a difference there, it is Jordan Abdul's kicking game is very important. Making sure that they pin back, Wellesby. Making sure they don't give him easy runs through the middle. Because he is the type of player that can spot gaps and can sort of use leverage to get those extra meters and quick play the balls. So as long as the kicking game from Abdul is solid, pin them back in their own 10, don't allow Wellesby to get those quick play the balls, and they set up quickly, don't give away penalties, they will dominate in the middle and in terms of field position. But Saints, the way that they seem to find ways very easily of getting out of those situations. And Catalans aren't, they're not perfect, but they can do that extremely well. So as long as they're on top with that, that's what's going to give them the edge against Saints in this round. But Saints, as I said, are good enough and smart enough to find ways out of that. And they will have their moments of dominance and good field position. And they will put up points on the back of that. So Catalans need to be very, very clean. But no team is perfect with discipline. And St Helens, they complete sets at a very, very high rate. So in terms of errors, typically they don't make many. They complete sets and they pin teams back and they open teams up with their attack as well. So there is a competitive game to be had here, but I think in all areas and on paper, St. Helens just the stronger team, but Catalans can really, really challenge them this week, I think. But I'm going to go with Dragons 16, St. Helens 24. So that's going to be it for my round 7 predictions. I'm going to take Wigan Warriors, Salford Red Devils, Leeds Rhinos, Hull Kingston Rovers, Huddersfield Giants, and St. Helens all to win this week. If you have your own predictions, do let me know in the comments down below. If there's anything you would have changed, anything I've not considered, also let me know. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.